All right, there we are. Hello and welcome to episode 140 of this show that I won't stop doing. So, there's your intro for today.
That's right.
It can't stop, won't stop, truly. And have our guest introduce themselves today.
All right. My name is Justin. You probably know me as Justincredible on Twitch. I am a Super Mario RPG speedrunner and the current world record holder for the 80% category on the Super Nintendo, as well as Beat QLX RTA. And I also speedrun Mega Man X games on the Super Nintendo as well, and a couple other games as well, which we'll go over today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 42, pretty. I'm up there in age. Probably one of the older speedrunners that's still doing this, and I dwell in the tri-state area of Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia. So if you're ever close by, hit me up.
You will learn all there is about Mario RPG. Guaranteed or your money back. Well, I guess we'll hop right on into the beginning. So you've been speedrunning a while now. When did it all
Yeah,
start?
yeah. I started speedrunning. Discovered Twitch about 20 into 2014, mid 2014. This was right after the big AGDQ event that they had with the epic four-way Super Metroid race
Yeah.
between Ivan Zos, Garrison, and Krauser.
That was the one that finished within like a second, right?
Yeah, Ivan
Mm-hmm.
beat Zos by a second, and ironically, I checked the marathon list for that, and ironically, I discovered Mega Man X running the infamous X1 race between Z Wing and Caleb Hart, and that's kind of where I got my sparked my interest to actually want to try to do it myself. But it actually speed running for me actually started well beforehand. The very beginning, like none of us really knew it was big at the time, but actually when I started in college, we always tried to have races to see who could beat Mario 3 the fastest, and I was
Mm.
like around 12 minutes. Obviously, uh, this was 20 some odd years ago. This was when the big Morimoto task came out for Mario
Mm.
3,
Yep.
and, and we all tried endlessly in one of our dorm rooms to recreate 1-1 from Mario 3, and it took us like an hour just to get like the first jump off the Goomba from the ground.
Mm.
It was an epic struggle. Um, but but
In all
yeah,
fairness, it was Taz, so.
yeah, it was a task. A lot of us thought it was real, honestly, for a while, and then we figured, you couldn't kill an enemy and tail swipe it really quick. So we figured, after a while, it was revealed that it was a task. But that's where the true roots of speedrunning began. But before that, I was just a casual gamer like anyone else. Just play your games and you complete them and you move on to the next one. But yeah, it was. I had all the X games. I still do. Completed all of them. I did. I played a lot of role playing games like Final Fantasy, Donkey Kong Country. All the classic games that I think all of us can agree that we've all loved since we were kids. And but yeah, Final Fantasy in particular was an interesting one about completion because you always had like all these items that you had to pick up and you had to get everything. You had all the side quests you had to do. So a big part of that for me back in college was also working on perfect files where you get absolutely everything and maximum of everything that you can possibly get without screwing anything up. And that in itself is a challenge. Uh, but that was my big one. And then I want to say I had an injury back in 2009, and I was sidelined for quite a bit. And a friend of mine I hadn't played Final Fantasy 9 before. I played 7 endlessly. I had just played 8 for the first time during college, and I was actually working on a perfect file for that while I was injured, but I'll explain more about that later. But a friend got me into playing Final Fantasy 9, and I was like, okay, I like this game. And then I looked up on GameFAQs, and apparently there was a speed challenge.
Mm,
The famous Excalibur 2 sword that you can only get when you get to the end of the game in 12 hours or less.
mm,
So after I played through the game, complete the first time, and then I saw the speed challenge, and then there was a perfect game challenge, the infamous Excalibur 2 perfect game challenge on GameFAQs, and I was like, oh, this is for me. So I followed it, and the guide was this was 2000, and I want to say 2000, late 2009, no, early 2009, 2010, when I really got focused on doing it. And that's actually where my first real dose into speedrunning was. Even though it was, back then it was a segmented, a segmented affair, but it was still speedrunning.
mhm.
So I got to learn, optimizations, movement, menuing, you know, uh, resetting. That was a lot of that. But that's where my real first dabble into speedrunning truly began, and this was before streaming was a thing for me.
It's before streaming was a thing, period, almost.
Yeah, the perfect game challenge I think started back in 2006, maybe earlier. It's been a while since I've looked online, but the challenge was in its infancy, kind of, and actually I got actually involved in part of the playtesting process because with the founding of like some new strats and the actual a new side quest, the infamous Nero family side quest on disc 4, I actually got to take part in playtesting, and it was actually part of rewriting the guide. Sort of, I wasn't a
Mm.
big player in that, but I was one of the first playtesters. I'll go by a different name on there called NB the Game Master. So if you look up on FF9, the boards, if you look for that name, you'll find me there. I haven't been on there in a long time though.
Has been a while.
Yeah, it's been over 10 years. Yeah, about 10 years actually.
Hmm. So that was the beginning of not just
Yeah,
really
that,
speedrunning, but be communicating online with it in a way.
yeah, and I still like to this day. I still have all of my files from FF7, 8, and 9 all on these memory cards. This whole
Mm.
box is full of memory cards.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot there. But that's where the first dabble really started, and then I had a laptop that I was like, okay, well, uh, let's see if I can try streaming. So that's when I started with Mega Man X2, and this was back 2014. Yeah, it was 2014 when I started streaming Mega Man X2. That and I was pretty decent at the game. I thought, starting out, I could get through all the stages, no problem, not take hit, hardly get hit any. But just watching, what was being done at the time, I was like, oh yeah, X2 over X1 because X1 is such a mashing heavy game at the start, and mashing is not my strong suit. So when I discovered X2 didn't have really mashing, I was like, oh, this I can pick up pretty easy.
So how did you find like speedrunning through or at that era?
Um, I think I watched a lot of the earlier streamers, like I think BJW, Trogdor, Caleb. Um, just getting on Twitch and just looking up the directory and see who's playing. Um, but those were the first big names that I watched starting out, just watching and learning. And I think my first time I submitted to the leaderboards was like a mid 34, which at that time I think was pretty good. I think people were saying mid 34 for any percent X2 for your first run was really, really good. Because I think the world record at the time was 33:40.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you're less than a minute off of world record starting out, that's a good sign. And
You'll also be looked at with a bit of scrutiny, maybe, at
well,
that
yeah,
rate.
when I first started, I was streaming off the old laptop, and it wasn't great quality, but you could see what was going on. But um,
Not uncommon for the time.
right, yeah, I started off with a lot of what everybody else started off with. The old Dazzle,
Mm-hmm.
plug it into the laptop, and plug in your splitters and everything, and off you go.
I've got my Dazzle sitting here somewhere.
Yeah, mine is actually not too far from me. It's in one of these drawers, but yeah, I still have it. It's just a reminder of all the history that's been on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So after I played a lot of X2, and in 2015, I finally broke the 34 barrier and got 33. I think it was in March of 2015. And at the same time, I was also interested in picking up X3 because uh, I think Caleb was playing that, as well as Luis Miguel, who's uh, had the X3 record for a long time. Um, and Z Wing also played X3 as well. I think he was playing both Any and 100. It's been a long time, but yeah, those similar names, yeah, got me interested in that as well. Um, I think at one point I was playing both X2 and X3 at the same time. I was just alternating back and forth. And then about May, I want to say it was right after I got my 33, I wanted to pick up an RPG, and I wasn't really sure what to pick up. The only RPG I really played on the Super, like that I knew what I was doing, was Super Mario RPG. So I was like, well, and it's also a Mario game, so I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. And at that time, I was trying a lot of different speed games. Uh, like I was playing Mega Man 7, I was playing Link to the Past, um, Donkey Kong Country, DKC 2 in particular, and DKC 3. But Mario RPG was, like, I think the clear winner to, like, plant my flag in new land, so to speak.
Hmm.
But I kept playing X2, and at one point I was top 5 on X2 on the console leaderboards. X2 is, to this day, is still split with emulator and console.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Uh, there's random lag, and there's other emulation issues, so they're still split. But at one point, like, I think I had a 33. I want to say 3x, but it was top 5 for sure. I'm trying to think who was the other 4. It's been too long though. But at one point I was at top 5, and then a lot of new people joined the game. Like Tokyo, I think Nero came back. Yeah, Nero came back. Um, gosh, it's been too long. um, Bob and Nim, I think Demolix, they all came into the game at some point after 2015, after they had their Mega Man X race. So it was a booming time. 2015, 2016, 2017 was a big booming time for speedrunning
Mm-hmm.
in Mega Man X, and in speedrunning in general. Like, it was getting a big push.
And I do want to mention that all of these are kept track on Mega Man leaderboards. That's the website,
.net.
not
Yeah,
on
.net.
speedrun.com.
It's a secondary, but yeah, the main
Yeah,
board
the main
is
is.
yeah,
So that's where you go to find all the information.
yeah, the history, yeah. Um, so I can't remember if it was March or May, but I started doing SMRPG then, and I started running on English at the time because, I come from rural Kentucky, so uh, not a lot of people have like access to like technologically advanced methods of learning languages or playing games or anything. I mean, I come from poor, well, not dirt poor, but not your wealthy side, just your typical Kentucky boy. So I had a lot to learn and a lot to learn quick. It wasn't book smarts for me. It was more street smarts. So I started watching SMRPG, and I think the main people I watched, once again, BJW was playing Mario at the time. You also had names like Millennium. You had Lack Attack, obviously. Um, Albrecht, who goes by Verny right now. That's his new Twitch name, but that was his name back then. Um, I remember watching Checkers for a short time before he got his PB. This was before the era of RNG manip. This was during the time where you still beat the game almost in a single sitting, where you don't save. You still did Bowser door manipulations, but Checkers PB was not Bowser door manipulation. That was the last. That was the first time I watched a run where you just go in the Bowser doors and you just go in and you hope you don't pick the wrong door and have to lose time getting back out. But I think when I started playing Mario RPG, I was on playing English uh, for I want to say 3, 4, 5 months, and then I made the switch once I acquired a Japanese cart and learned that everything's in the same place, all your menu selections, everything like that, still in the same place. You just have to know characters.
How much of a time save is the Japanese version?
Well, back then it was on a different route,
Mm.
but it was roughly about 8 minutes 40 seconds,
Oh wow,
just on text.
that's incredibly
Yeah,
significant.
yeah, but um, but yeah, I was just starting out, and it took me a while to ascend the ladder, so to speak. Uh, just because there's it's SMRPG is more like a reactive game where you have to respond to different situations. It's not necessarily you have to prevent certain things from happening, but it's more okay. What does the enemy do, and then you do according to that.
hmm Yeah, I know
But
it's
it's
the
all
game is no cakewalk and involves a lot of reactionary RNG. That's like
yeah,
its main focus.
and the main thing with RPG is like you're low level a lot of the time. So if everything doesn't go according to plan, you're usually gonna die. Game over. Uh, just pitfalls like
Reset,
that.
go again.
Yeah, and at the time, SMRPG back then, it had a lot in the run that you had to do. I mean, you had to go to different places. You had you went and did a revisit, and and this was 10 years ago. This is more than 10 years ago, and you know, uh, new people come in and they discover stuff, and things get cut out of the run just to save time, but then it involves more luck.
hmm
And I think when I started, we were doing where we would fight an optional enemy in one of the early areas to get like some important items to sell, and then you would visit. You actually do a revisit to an area earlier as well, where you'd go in a secret path and you get some additional items just to sell for money. But the general thing about SMRPG, it's for a while you start getting through the RNG early segments where your only weapons that you have is just your special skills that Mario and the company have, and then eventually you transition to using equipment for a little bit, weapons, actually attacking instead of using spells, and then you start to abuse the powerful ice, fire, bombs, rock candy, and then you start to really rely on Mario's super jump,
Mm-hmm.
where that's probably one of the biggest skill things that you can do in speedrunning. It's not number one, obviously, but it's one of the biggest things uh that you can do because it takes a lot of concentration for 75 seconds and knowing that you can't drop an input and you have to do it consistently on command, on demand, when the clock is running.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and even if you can do it blindfolded, which I've done a couple of times, but just being able to do it without looking is something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know specifically that, like, the best example is there's a boss where you have to hit 100 in a row, and at max speed, which you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like 13 jumps in or something. Each one becomes a 3 frame window.
Yeah, exactly. At the 13th jump, the frame window is 3 frames, and you have to get 100 to get a super suit. It's called in the English language. It's called Super Jumper in Japanese, but it's basically the most powerful equipment in the game, and
Mm-hmm.
you're basically using that a lot to get you through the rest of the run as fast as you do.
Mm-hmm.
Without it, it's you're gonna add at least maybe 30 minutes to the run because you have to level up. And that's another thing. Back then, there was death abuse where you would intentionally game over and restart your game from the last place you save. Because in Mario RPG, you actually keep your experience that you gained when you game over, but you just go back to your previous save point. So in theory, if you save it like Mario's pad and play through the whole game without saving again, and you game over on Smithy, and you're at like level 21, you would start back over at Mario's pad at level 21.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
you would actually go to Land's End, and there. Oh yeah, and Cypher was also a big name in Mario RPG. I knew I forgot somebody, but watching him, there was a lot of death abuse going on in those early days, where to compensate um, not having enough high enough level to get through some of the I want to call them gatekeeper bosses, where you have to be strong enough at least to get by them, or you're going to have a lot of problems. Uh, Yuridovich and Balone 2 were, and Johnny, of course, were some of those said gatekeepers to make sure that you were strong enough to continue the game.
Mm-hmm.
And and I had just picked up speedrunning right after finishing up the Excalibur 2 Perfect Game stuff, which we can talk about that a little bit later. But I was transitioning from being a casual player to more of a speed gamer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to go back and try to play casual
Yeah.
once you know how to do it for speedrunning. It's kind of hard to go back.
Oh yeah. So I notice you, like, every game you've mentioned so far are all Super Nintendo games. Is there a reason for that?
Well, I collect a lot of Super Nintendo stuff, as you can tell behind me,
Hmm.
but also just having a very basic system to play off of, because I know a lot of people that stream PlayStation games, they got these more elaborate setups. I do have like GameCube as well, but Super Nintendo was just the console for me when I was a kid. Besides the regular 8-bit Nintendo, but Super was where I played a lot of my games, and it was pretty easy to pick up, and and also setting up the stream setup was also easy.
So just kind of convenience and nostalgia.
Yeah, but yeah, now I have a Japanese GameCube. I've got a US GameCube. I've also got a top loader, AV Famicom top loader. I've also got a PlayStation 2 stashed away somewhere to hook up whenever I want. So the options are definitely there. It's just making sure that it all still works because the PlayStations, they're 20 some years old and they run off of disk.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also another concern. If you have a PlayStation whose laser ain't working, it's going to be hard to want to play something reliably. Cartridges don't have that problem, so
Yeah.
it's
So
pretty easy.
the most modern console you own is still like early 2000s.
Yeah, I don't have anything newer than a PlayStation 2. I don't even have an Xbox One. I don't have a
You don't
PS3. I
have
don't even have
any like HD. That's
No, I don't have a
yeah.
Switch. No, I don't.
No.
I keep it all retro. Like that's a lot of people ask me, why do you still live in the 90s? Because I tell them it's like that was the best decade. It was a good time.
I can respect it. I mean, you can probably find a lifetime of enjoyment from those
Yeah, I
consoles
don't.
alone still.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about patches for newer games. I don't have to buy new games. I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about a speedrun time getting obsoleted because of a new patch coming out or anything. It's pretty easy, you
Yeah.
know. Just live the simple life.
I definitely love some conveniencies, so again, I respect it, even though I definitely have more modern stuff as well. But obviously, for speedrun purposes, I love the very simplicity of NES and
Yeah,
around
plug
that
and play.
era. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you need to practice, it don't take that much setup either. You just set you up a little TV and have at it.
Yeah. And EverDrive's though a bit pricey sometimes. I mean, that's all in
Yeah,
one, everything you could possibly need for that console.
yeah. I've had to save up money to buy some certain things too, but it's
Mm-hmm.
worth it.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's so helpful because I
so
remember specifically. Um, I assume in like at least 2019 era, you might not have had a EverDrive or something like that, and I bring it up because I remember at GDQ you had this just container full of Mario RPG, all with different save files to practice different
yeah,
areas.
I was about to mention that. You bring that
Mm-hmm.
up. Yeah, and this was an area of SMRPG back in 2015, 16, 17 where, you know, I think they had the SD to SNES out, but they didn't have a support thing for Mario because certain games have certain chips in them that you can't emulate, and it
Mm-hmm.
makes making them work in something like this a little bit difficult. So yeah, a lot of us runners, myself, we all had like 5 or 6 of these. I had like 4. I bought I think 3 or 4 and had different files. And then when we finally got a save state pack a lot later to actually work in this, I was like, well, time to get rid of the carts. Uh, Probably the most known name for Mario, Pidge01. She had like, I think she said, and I think I seen a picture of him. She had like 21 different carts. Yeah,
Oh
it was true. I seen it.
man.
Um, but yeah, it was one of those deals where if you had to practice a certain section, you had to play the game up to a certain point, make a save spot, keep playing, save another spot, and then if you had to use another cart, you had to start the game over and
Mm-hmm.
do it again. So it was quite a time consuming thing back then.
Mm-hmm. Because what each cart's limited to three, I
Yeah,
think. Oh,
four
you do it
files.
four. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's a little better. It's,
yeah, a little
no, not.
better.
I mean, yeah, I know most games around that time had only three, so I guess that's nice. But you need a lot more than four save states to practice efficiently, especially in an RPG as long as this
Hmm.
one. So.
So and then I think 2017. Um, no, I think it was 2016. A new route was brought out to where you would do something called the skill swap glitch, where you would actually get skills from other characters onto Peach, where she has a higher magic attack stat when she joins, and you'd use her to use certain magic attacks. Um, it was called Peach Chart, I think. Is what the route name is. That was what the name of the route was called. Uh, but how that would work is by uh, by entering the menu when you hit a star chest, and you have to do it just the right way. Otherwise, the star locks you out of the menu, and you can't even enter the menu to do the swap that the glitch is named for. You would swap Peach with whatever character you wanted to take a skill from, and Peach would have to learn. She would have to reach that character's level at a specific level to learn a specific skill. So, for instance, for the Sea Star at Seaside Town, after we buy a whole bunch of bombs and we do nothing but use bombs or super jump for most of the middle game, um, you would swap Peach in with Mallow on the Switch menu. There's a menu where you can swap party members' positions around. You would just switch the positions with Peach and Mallow, and what would happen is when Peach reaches uh, the level that Mallow learns Shocker, which is level 10, which is her very first level up, she will take his Shocker skill
Hmm.
and all the level up bonuses that Mallow would have along with him. And the same is reverse. Mallow, when he levels up, he would learn anything from levels like 6 or 7. But the thing is, Peach joins at level 9, and they didn't code any level up bonuses or anything for Peach at those lower levels that she's not going to join at. So he gets nothing.
Hmm.
But in the speed run, once you finish the Mobile mines, you really don't use Mallow at all for the speed run for the rest of the game, unless you were doing an old route that doesn't involve this. Um, the old original route that I remember watching utilized Mallow a lot because he had Snowy and Shocker, those powerful lightning skills and ice skills that are very useful for the end game. But once this little glitch was discovered, Mallow was deemed obsolete. Like, didn't need him anymore. So, and you would do that also again later in the Barrel Volcano. Geno would also level up to a certain level, and then you do it again on the Volcano Star with Geno, and you would take his Geno Blast skill, which has quite a bit of a damage modifier added on to the magic attack that Peach uses. So it's a good attack all enemy skill with that deals decent damage. So yeah, you can do this with any character but Mario because Mario cannot be moved in the Switch menu. He is always in your party at all times. But if you know how to level up correctly and you can, level up at specific times, you can steal a lot of skills just casually. You can get any of Koopa's status skills, but you can only get one for each level. So like you can't get two skills at the same level because she can only level up to each level one time. So you have to pick and choose. But luckily we don't have to do that much in the speed run. But that's where I think the route really took off, and that's really where a lot of the time saves started coming in because obsoleted it obsoleted Mallow, and it also obsoleted um, the game over death abuse where you had to gain levels because you'd also get an important equipment called an experience booster. A lot of RPGs have this sort of item in some form or another, but it's obviously you double experience, and the sooner you get it, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's where the route really took off, and that's when I started really like getting better because I was starting to climb up the leaderboard. I think I was at one point top 5 around 20. I want to say 2016, 2017. All the big names were still up there. Like Lack Attack, Millennium. You know, all the names that you probably know today. Uh, But in 2017, SMRPG entered the RNG manipulation era. A new player came on the scene by the name of Swinch, and he figured out that you can manipulate some boss fights. In particular, the Clown Brothers at the top of Booster Tower was a big RNG swing every time you went in there because it's so volatile. Because you could have good RNG and you could get through there pretty quickly, but you could get put to sleep. You could get just a lot of things could happen, and you could lose up to 45 seconds for no reason.
Hmm.
But RNG Manip, you know, made that boss fight a little better. It's not used everywhere because the way the game is programmed, it's not where you can just do it every single fight and get the same exact thing every time. There's a lot of different factors in it. It's a lot to go over, but the short of it is, it just made that particular fight a lot more consistent, and it removed a lot of RNG out of the middle game because you could grind the early game pretty consistently in like an hour and get a decent run, but when you got to clowns, it could derail almost instantly.
So how does the
But
manip work?
it works off of a global counter. It's not true RNG, so it works like um well, also Clemenip, you're using item freebies mostly. The old myth was that freebies could be timed.
Hmm.
Well, that's not really the case. What it is, if you use an item on any specific frame in the global counter, it would freebie automatically. So it basically was whenever an action has to be performed on a frame in the global counter, depending what it is what will happen. So if you're in battle and an enemy has to attack or has to take his turn, and that's basically it. Whatever frame that executable action has to occur on will determine what it is. So from one frame to another, an enemy could do like a normal attack, which in 99% of the game, you want the enemy to just do a physical attack because it's the fastest and you can perfect block and not die. But if it was like 2 frames later, that same enemy could do a spell and you lose 5 seconds maybe. Or it could be a spell that could like one shot your character and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hmm.
Just speaking that as an example. But the clowns, what they would do, they would put you to sleep, and the old strat that you would use special attacks that you have to mash with Mario's fireball attack. So if you can't mash very well, that would hinder you because you would deal less damage. And there's a skill that Bowser uses called Terrorize, where you have to put them in the fear status to deal more damage. That could fail. There's a 10% chance that it could fail, and if you can't deal more damage, the fight takes longer, and that's where a lot of the time loss actually comes from. Was from the Terrorize not hitting. But with this Cloud Manip method, where you're throwing the rock candy at just the right frames, and you're dealing fixed damage with rock candy. Any item bombs that you throw is dealing fixed damage, so there's no RNG with weapons that you have to worry about. You just have to hit the throws. And we didn't know at first until we figured out, oh, go buy the music, because since you have to do a save and reset, it resets the RNG. And then if you get to the fight on the right frame every time, you just use the audio cues in the fight the time your rock candy throws, and you get a freebie every time.
I see.
So it made the fight simpler. Well, not simpler. It made the fight easier to like get through it consistently, but it added a element of skill because you had to time your throws and confirm them on just the right frames to ensure the freebie. because if the item that you use, you use it over and over and over. The rock candy, you only have one of them at that point in the game, and if you don't freebie it, your run's basically over, or you have to lose time to get backup bombs to replace it.
Hmm.
So it became another reset choke point in the run. Once everyone got good at the manip and could start hitting it consistently on demand, it came almost like doing another set of super jumps,
Mm-hmm.
essentially.
But these are frame perfect instead of a 3 frame window.
Not necessarily frame perfect.
Oh, okay.
Switch did find out that there's a frame window that you can use,
Okay.
because what he did, he broke down the code, and he showed me there's a column of frames, and there's like 65,535 frames, and it just cycles over, and it shows like, will item freebie, and there's like a big window where it's all yes.
Mm.
So it's not necessarily like you have to hit it frame perfect. You just have to hit the window.
So you find a time. So you quit and restart the game to restart the RNG thing, and then
Yep.
do the same inputs every time, and then use an audio cue to hit the window.
Right. You have to
Okay.
listen to the music, yeah, and figure out where the windows are. And then once you figure out and you have to use like either a sound effect in the music, like a cymbal or a horn or something like that. And the timings, and when the manip was first found, it was only like, we only freebied it once. We just manipulated 2 freebies. It was 2 freebies. And then it grew to like, and then I came up with the idea. I was like, hey, Switch, how about, can we find a third window so that we don't have to rely on Mario's attack? And it turned out it was actually barely faster, because normally in the Clownmanip fight, if you look at the AGDQ 2019 run that I did, you'll see it only does it will do 2 rock candy throws, and then there's a third one that Bowser does right after. Bowser has a pretty fast item throw animation. In fact, he has the fastest item throw animation. He just opens up his hand and out comes the item. But yeah, he found that, yeah, you doing that, it was a little faster, and it mitigated Mario having to attack, which the original minute you had to attack with Mario to get the right damage after the terrorize, because it still used terrorize at that point. And then the manip actually evolved. There was a new manip that did 4 rock candy freebies, which is what the current record does. But it was set up a little differently. In fact, when you save the game, wherever the oscillation of the save box is when Mario lands, actually dictates what kind of rock candy freebie strat you use, because there's actually 2 different RNG seeds when you go into a boss fight. So if you save on the wrong oscillation and you're on the wrong seed and you try the same cues, they won't work.
Sounds complicated.
Yeah. So there's 2 different RNG seeds to do rock candy manip with. So there's also different cues for each one that you got to know. Like when I started, I picked up the 3 RC manip because it's the same as the 2 RC one, the original. But the 4 RC one is the most difficult, but it's done on the other RNG seed. So you have to land on the save block on the bottom part of the oscillation as opposed to the top, and then you have to do different cues. And plus, you can barely, if your turbo is really good and not fail, you can barely do these on English. At least the 4 RC one, but these manips can be done on either version. But the 4 Rock Candy one in particular it's really viable Japanese only, because the text is shorter and gives you time to actually get into the menu and get your item and get it ready to confirm the throw. But it can't be done on English, but your turbo has to be immaculate. And that's the one thing that evolved as well. It used to not allow turbo, and then turbo was allowed just to save your hands from all the mashing.
Mm-hmm.
because imagine mashing through 2.5 hours of text, and I can't imagine what the FF runners go through when they have to go through like 7, 8, 9 hours of text.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's that way now for just about every RPG to allow turbo just to save your hands, because taking care of your hands is really important nowadays.
Mm-hmm. So when did it allow turbo?
We allow turbo. I think it was September of, I want to say, 2017.
Okay, so it was an early adaptation.
Yeah, yeah. When the Claminette came around, there was also discussion of, should we allow turbo. People were worried that turbo would be cheating, but not
Mm-hmm.
really. Not in a game like SMRPG where it's a timing based game, and the way the turbo works on Super Nintendo. If you have one of these, I've got one right here. If you have one of these ASCII pads, is what a lot of us use. There's a turbo function that you just flip a switch, and it just constantly hits that input over and over and over. Well, the problem is in Mario, where it's a timing based thing, the game accepts one input during a particular frame window. So turbo does that constantly. And if you have a turbo input going and you try to do timing windows, it won't accept them. So the
Mm.
game kind of has like an anti-turbo uh, fail-safe system in place to keep you from doing that sort of thing. Because if you mess up a menu and you have turbo on by accident and you oversell or sell the wrong stuff, your run's over.
Mm.
If you select the wrong text response on a text, you're going to lose time. Um,
So it really only
so
helps with text mashing. Like everything that's still skill based in the game retains that skill. You
yeah,
can't use
it's
turbo for it.
yeah. You can use there's turbo. You can use it in menus if you plan to sell everything like you got. Like that is a thing, and you
Okay.
can use it to help you automate. Like if you're just defending for the rest of your people, you can just use that.
Mm, fair.
But really, yeah, text is really the only safe thing that it would help you not ruin your hands over. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yeah, SMRPG it's still, despite, it's got all these things in place to keep you from cheating with turbo for for doing skill stuff. Like you can't automate super jumps with turbo. You can't automate button mashing Mario's fireball attack because it's a rhythmic mash. It's not a mash as hard as
Mm-hmm.
you can type of thing where the better you are at it, the more damage you're going to deal. No, there's a cap on all of that. But just having turbo just to save your thumbs and your wrists from mashing, and it also opens up bathroom breaks because
Mm-hmm.
before turbo was the thing, you only had like two, maybe two bathroom breaks, but now you have like three or four that you can go do. So like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's pretty convenient now because you feel like you need to step away, you can, and just let the game take over for however long it needs to be. But you gotta make sure you get back in your chair before it all
Mm-hmm.
ends, though.
Yeah.
So this was right at 2017, and 2018 was my year because I was getting getting pretty good runs, and also I was getting pretty lucky too because there would be a point where I'd be on pace a lot, and the lore is around the community that I'm the luckiest
Mm-hmm.
person because I'd get all the good runs. There was a point like with all the extra bombs and everything that we were getting with the old route, like that's a lot of opportunities to get freebies. Like the more items you have, the more chances you can freebie, and you needed like so many. Uh, like the route was fine, but to really save time, you had to get freebies, and they were random.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from the manipulated freebies, any other freebies that you would get in the game were just based on luck. Like you had no idea if like you couldn't tell from battle sequences or anything. You just had to throw an item and hope it freebied.
Mm-hmm.
And there'd be a point where I'd start getting runs where I would get like enough freebies to get through all the boss fights pretty quickly. But the problem was my reaction time and just avoiding encounters is another big thing in Mario RPG. It's not like your typical RPG like Final Fantasy where a random encounter appears out of nowhere on you and you have to deal with it. You can actually the enemies that you see on the field are your encounters. If you
Mm-hmm.
want them, you touch the enemy. If you don't want an encounter, you stay away from him. So if you get into an encounter, it's mostly under your control. There are a few exceptions to that, but mainly, yeah, if you get into a random encounter you don't want, it's usually your fault.
Mm-hmm. So, at this point in time, did you kind of just settle on this game?
Yeah, for I was still doing X2 and X3,
Okay.
but yeah, but I was doing a juggling act. I'd get to a point in X2 where I was happy with it for at the time. Then I play X3 for a bit, or I would play Mario for a bit, and if I get tired of it, or I get not enough time to start another run and finish it, I'd go to a shorter game like Mega Man and play that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and yeah, I was playing X3 at the time as well because 2018 was uh I was playing 100% a lot, and I was getting better at that. And X Mega Man X3 is not an easy game, considering even regardless of what category you're playing, just there's a lot of factors in X3 that make it difficult. The fact that when you take damage, you take a lot more of it. So if you get hit like two or three times in a stage, you're dead,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to reset. The game X3 is more vertically in its stage design, so you're doing a lot of climbing, and if you fail a climb or you fall down during a climb, you're losing a lot more time because you have to climb back up. Um, and the stages were longer, and the game was just longer in general. So any massive time losses compounded on one another.
Mm-hmm.
But I started playing 80% and 100%, kind of interchanging between those two for a while. Excuse me. And I think at one point I was top three in 80% and 100%. Like there wasn't many people running X3 at the time either. I mean, it was a lot less people back then. It was like just me, Louise, Ochgard, Z Wing. I think Nero had played up to a point, and then he went over and played SM64. A lot of people know Nero played SM64. Um, let's see who else played X3 back in the day. Hetfield, he was a keyboard player, but he was still a good player. I learned a lot from watching him too. He also played X2, by the way. I knew I was forgetting the name. Um, but yeah, X3. There wasn't a whole lot of people that played X3 just because of how much more difficult the game was and how much more punishing it was. But yeah, at one point I got 45-minute time and 100%, which at the time was really good because world record was like a low 45. Um, and then 80%, I think the record was I want to say upper 39, and I was almost at a 39. Like I was at a low 40 in 2018. Um, and this was way before, like this was back when my channel wasn't even monetized. Like I have a sub button now, but for like the first 9 or 10 years I didn't have a sub button. I just didn't bother with it.
Oh,
I was just playing for the fun of it. It didn't I wasn't playing to make money. It was just for the fun of it.
yeah. I do feel
And
like
I
that's how
still do
most
that now.
speedrunners start out, at least. I hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not easy to get affiliate, and I think even back around that time, only partners could
Yeah, I
get
don't
subs
affiliate
anyway.
I don't think affiliate came or wasn't around until I want to say 2017, 18. But even then, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
partner was extremely difficult.
It was around in
Even
2017 because that's when I made my account and I remember it existing. But I think before then, it was a partner only thing, which was so much harder to get,
yeah,
and still is. But yeah.
yeah. And I think my follower count when I played Mega Man was like I think it got up to like 800. No, I think I got around to 600, 600 or 700, and then when Mario came around, it went up.
Oh.
10 came around, and I got my uh got my Mario run accepted, and the MMX relay got accepted. You know that went up then, but back to 2018. Back to 2018 was basically the year that I rose to the top. Memorial Day 2018 comes around, May 28th. Uh, World record at the time was 248.23. Yeah, 248.23. Verity had the record then. And this was we were still in the infancy of the RNG manipulation, and I think Turbo was around for about 6 months, 6 or 7 months. But I get this run going, and I told everybody I wanted to try to go for a record at least once. Like if I get the record just once, I'll be happy. So I get this run, and I get to the end, and I'm like barely ahead. I think. Now I think it was like 20 seconds ahead or something of my PB. My PB was like 248.39 at the time. So I was right on the cusp of record, and a lot of us had this habit when we were on pace. We would hide our splits
Mm-hmm.
so we don't let the timer or anything distract us.
Yeah.
And like I even covered my monitors because I didn't want to see chat or anything. Yeah, a lot of people like got really superstitious over that, and I still do it every once in a while. But
I get it. Yeah. It
yeah,
can be
you don't.
distracting and anxiety inducing
Yeah,
sometimes.
you want to be locked in. You don't want to see a chat message pop up, and then you have this inkling to want to look at it while you're super jumping. It's like no.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually had a good enough fight. It wasn't perfect, but it was good enough. I had a couple of key freebies at the end of that run that was able to save me enough time to barely beat the record by 4 seconds. And this was May 28th, 2018. So, I'm celebrating, and I was like, whoo. So, finally, world record is part of my name for good now. Like, it's there. So, but there's always improvements, and this was still like early in the RNG era and all that. And I think it was 8 days later, I was still playing the game, and my newly acquired record was almost beaten like a couple of days before. Uh, Verity had a run going too, but he dropped jumps on Smithy, I think. I remember I watch a lot, and I have a pretty good memory about what happened and everything. I think he dropped jumps on Smithy and missed it just by a little bit. And then, like, my next stream, I get another sick run going, and I think I was like, massive freebies. Like when you're ahead, like I can see the viewership, climb. So I know, okay, people are invested in this.
The pace
But when I
pals
was
come
looking at,
rushing in.
it was Pace Pals before Pace Pals was a thing. And then I'm looking at my splits, and I get like a good cake time. There's a boss fight that's a huge bottleneck in the run called Bunt. It's a big wedding cake you fight about halfway through the game, and it can end your run. It has so much volatility with spells that it can cast, and believe me, Switch tried to manip that too, but there's a lot of random lag frames that causes you to not be able to do such a thing. But at the time, a low 108 or a 107, a high 107 was like the good cake time standard. and Claminip was still in its infancy, and we were still doing the revisits with Booster Pass to get those to get like a cure cola to sell for money, and we were still doing, I think, Pandarite, the optional enemy in the sewers that you fight for experience, and a flower jar that you also sell for money just to buy bombs. That's all you do with all these extra items. You just sell them for money and you buy bombs with them. So you have a lot of bombs for the second half of the run. Well, the more bombs, like I said, the more bombs you have, the more opportunities you have to freebie them. Well, I freebied a bunch of bombs in that run, and I had a ton going into the end game, and I basically saved time on, I think, a lot of the boss fights that you need freebies to save time with. And I was like literally going into factory. I think I was literally a minute ahead of my record. The record at that time was 2:48:19, and I was over a minute ahead. And I was like, wait a minute, if I'm a minute ahead and I've got time to save on Smithy, like I could almost skip 2:47 and go right to 2:46. It was a ridiculous run. I don't know if I lost the video footage to it. My old hard drive fried, and I lost all the videos I had on it.
And it wasn't
But
uploaded anywhere.
yeah, I had it. I think I had it uploaded somewhere. I think when I went and cleaned out some of my old files, I might have accidentally deleted it. I still have my old hard drive. If I could find a way to revive it or get it hooked up to something, I could extract all the data from it. So I'm always holding out for that possibility. But it was like, I get to the end of the game, I'm getting ready to fight Smithy, and I'm like literally a minute ahead with time to save. And people were going like, oh, this could skip 2:47. And 2:47, like we all think, okay, once a minute barrier is broken, like what's it gonna take to break the next one? Well, turbo was a big factor in breaking minute barriers, just because it saves you from mashing, and you're able to advance text immediately on the first frame possible. So the turbo alone can save you a couple of minutes just on the text. All that adds up over the course of the run. There's so much text that you got to go through, and if you're playing on Japanese, it's even faster. But I finished that run, and I was getting real good at super jumps. Like I had literally drilled them, and I could hit them on any boss that you could throw at me. And I lost a little bit of time trying to find items in that fight, because when you get freebies, when you enter the item inventory on the actual menu, the items sort, but they do not sort when you're in a battle menu. So trying to find items that are scrambled around because of freebies makes it a little tougher. But I still finished the fight out, and I nearly PB'd by a whole minute. It was 56 seconds. So 2:47:23 was the record. And at that point, with all the freebies, I was like, how could you beat this run?
Well, if you were technically on 46 pace, then it's
oh
gotta
yeah,
be possible.
oh yeah, it was possible, but there was a lot of early game stuff that you have to get by too. Like you have to get a good Croco one, a good Bolome fight, a good cake fight for one thing. That's usually the kicker.
Yeah.
And the thing about this Claminip is that once you get it in a run first try, you basically have to get it first try every time from then on out, or you have to reset. Because the thing about saving and resetting, it costs you time to do all that. So it's like a 20-second investment. And the only way that the Claminip can save you time while doing that is if you use rock candy. And you have to do a manipulation. Like, you could just go in raw, not save, and just throw the rock candy, which is what a lot of people used to try to do back in the day. You just go in the fight, throw the rock candy, and if it freebies, you keep going, and if you don't, you reset.
Jeez.
So that would save you 20 seconds, because the rock candy attacks all enemies on the screen at once, not one at a time like the special attacks do. Like Mario's fireball or super jumping. That's the thing. The super jump, it only targets one enemy, so it's only good a lot of the times against one enemy on screen. If you have like 5 or so, like Axum Rangers, super jump isn't going to do you any good. That's where the ability to attack all enemies with a bomb comes in handy, almost invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
So after lowering the record by another nearly basically a whole minute from where it was just 8 days prior, it was a good stopping point. So I went back to Mega Man in X3 and I improved my run a little bit. Yeah, because this was October. This was October when I got the low 40. So it was right after uh, getting 247, taking a little break. I would come back to it every now and then just to play around. And and then at the end of 2018, I would submit for HDQ 2019, and it got accepted. And then 2019, it got even hotter. Like 2019 was a big year for Mario too. Because right after AGDQ, we do the AGDQ relay race for Mega Man. All those games got a lot of attention.
It was a three team
Yeah,
X1, X2, X3 relay, right?
right. Yep,
Yeah,
three
yeah.
teams. You had myself, Tokyo, and you had Walrus Prime on Team X. You had Sopanama, Trogdor, and Madu on Team Zero, and you had Caleb Hart, Colonel Fatso, and Luis Miguel on Team Sigma. I still have all those team shirts, by the way. They're hanging up still. But yeah, that was a good relay race. Sadly, though, my team kind of fell out of contention early on, but I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. X1 is not an easy game, especially without armor.
Mm.
But yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of access to internet at that time either. Like, so I got home and my follower count went up by like, I think it was 600 people. I was like, whoa, like sweet.
The good old days of
So
GDQ bump being real.
yeah, the GDQ bump. So February was a big. I think there was some route adjustments going on in 2019 as well. Um,
Oh, here,
I
hold
think
on. I do want to bring up the Mario at GDQ as well.
sure.
Um, because if I remember correctly, they had. So what's weird about this game is timing ends like after like 7 minutes of credits
Yeah.
usually, but I assume they had you stop like after the Smithy fight, right?
Yeah. We were running behind schedule
Mm-hmm.
apparently, and also the Beat Kulex incentive was met. I just casually hop in the elevator. Spike Vegeta goes, "Hey, did you know your Beat Kulex incentive got met?" I was like, "Really?" He's
Mm.
like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, well, it gives me something else to practice, I guess." So I go right into practice room and I hit 100 super jumps on Kulex twice in a row in a practice room that is so noisy I could barely hear the high
It was
pitch of the
noisy.
one up sound. Yeah, it was nuts. I was like, well, I did that. I'm like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But yeah. Normally the game is timed with Japanese RTA timing. That's
Mm-hmm.
from powering on the console to end the credits. And
Yeah.
the yeah, when the Japanese picked up the game, that's how they timed it. And then when us American runners picked it up, we kept the timing. We never bothered to do our own timing, so that's just how it's always been. I mean, in theory though, people like to argue, oh, why should we time the credits? Well, if you time the credits, that just makes it's JRTA timing for one. Number two, in case your run ever decides to change timing method, you're able to time it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Like, yeah, you could if it ever changes, you can fall back on like the last
yeah,
input of it pretty easily.
yeah.
It's not a
And
big
some
deal.
people some people would start their timer when they started the actual game, not when they turn the power on, and there's a time difference there that you have to account for.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah,
Yeah, Mario
also, but
64 is still like that, at least for
yeah,
starting.
a few games are still like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nowadays it's just when you start the game.
Okay.
Um, but Big Kulex RTA is from when you start the actual game. It's not the same as
Okay.
record 80%.
Yeah.
But
But if I recall, the time you got in the marathon was technically a lot faster than record because of that timing difference. So it's
well,
like, ooh.
I played on they played on English because they always want to see the text. They always want to see, the Bruce Lee line
Oh, so
and
I
all
might be
that.
having
They're
a
like,
false memory then. Yeah, I forgot. It would have been, yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, that run was magic. Like,
I just know the run was really good, so I assumed, oh, because of the timing thing, people must have been like, oh wait, record, even though big timing difference.
well,
But
the thing was, we were behind schedule, so also, the card I was playing on had really volatile saving issues. So a lot
oh,
of people, like, I even went back when I watched the video on the game on the GDQ channel. Everybody was asking, "Oh, why am I saving all this?" Well, also,
mm,
when you're behind schedule, you really can't afford to lose your run
yeah,
to
yeah.
a bad save or a bad power or a power outage issue, which actually happened. Apparently the lights went off while I was in the forest maze, and I was like, "Are we live still?" And I just kept going. Like, it didn't stop me,
Mm.
but apparently, they had contingencies set up for that.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
definitely seen mercy kills due to
yeah,
save
and
problems. Yeah, you definitely
and this
don't want to deal with that.
and this was my GDQ debut. Like,
Mm,
don't do
true.
like don't mess anything up. Take every precaution possible on your end to make sure that the show still goes on.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
I remember the run being just a really big deal in general. Like
this was
primetime
showing off.
Mario block.
Yeah, and also, yeah, there was some a couple more manipulations done too. At the start of the game, at the very prologue where you have to go through Bowser's Keep the first time, there's a manipulation you do there on those terrapins. Normally, you just attack one by one, and however many attacks you, that's it. But it turns out you can manipulate that too. So yeah, we figured out, oh, you can manip these because the when the game starts from new game, the RNG is set at a fixed value too. So you can just figure out when to time your punches and your jumps, and you can get none of the terrapins to attack you, and that's free time save. Like,
Mm,
if you get the maximum 6 punches, that's 18 seconds. But if you get none, there you go.
mhm.
So
So,
20 seconds is now a big deal in a
oh
run
yeah,
this short.
yeah. That's the thing I always knew about that run is it's long, and there's a lot of RNG, but it's still like you can't lose a lot of time at all. Really, like all the records are still like, you know, even rarely like 2 digits. Like it's very optimized for how for like an RNG based kind of RPG run.
More RPG is there's skill involved, but there's also luck, and you have to have
Hmm.
both.
Yeah.
Like, you
Oh
just
yeah.
can't be really good at the execution stuff. Now you have to get lucky. I've pushed the game down to a point where you have to do that.
Yeah. No, there's a healthy mix of both.
So
Anyway, what I was talking about earlier about the GDQ, what I was all trying to ask was, do you know like the equivalent time of the GDQ run, like if it was done normally?
if it what the Japanese conversion time would be,
Yeah, like a rough estimate of just how good it was in comparison to
it
standard
probably
time.
wouldn't be record. It wasn't record because I
No.
had a couple of mistakes, and plus all the saving that I did throughout the game just to make
Hmm.
sure that the file didn't get lost to some accident.
Yeah.
Like when the power outage happened, I was like, oh no.
Hmm.
Um, but no, it wasn't close to record. But with all the good RNG that I got in the first half of the run, so you have to watch it. Go watch the run yourself, and you'll see all the good RNG. Like, Bombless Croco 1, the sleep sauce on Mallow turn 2 is what you don't want to see. But I got the miss, which means I don't have to lose. I don't lose like 20 seconds to healing. I get the freebie Energizer on Bowyer, which lets me save time on Croco 2. On top of that, getting the 25% flower box drop from him. Now, on a marathon run, I don't think that's been seen. And if you look behind me on the webcam, you'll see the couch behind me. You'll see Cypher. You'll see BJW. You'll see some Mega Man X people there. The countdowns back there. They all freak out with all the RNG. Millennium, they
Yeah.
all lose it.
Yeah, no, I remember this run distinctively being just like crazy. So I was trying to
Yeah,
remember just how like good it was despite
yeah.
everything.
157 minecart. Get climbing at first try. Even through, I know the crowd was cheering for the freebies. They
Yeah.
probably didn't realize, oh, this is like important. But
You're
I
actually
handled it
controlling
just
this
fine.
kind of.
Yeah, but
They don't
I
need to
could
know that.
barely hear. Yeah, I could barely hear the crowd through the headphones. But
They were losing their minds a little
I,
bit.
as long as I can hear the music, I'm okay. That's all that matters. Like,
I know it was dead quiet for the Johnny fight, obviously, but
oh yeah, obviously. But
Mhm.
then right after the clown fight, we get a nice strong Booster Hill performance. Booster Hill's pretty important too, even though like most of the mini games that you do in Mario are just for show. But there's a couple of them that matter. Like you go down the Midas River after Balloam, you have to get frog coins. You have to get enough coins on the river to get another frog coin to buy the experience booster. All that is factored in.
Mhm.
Getting enough flowers on Booster Hill is important because you got to have enough FP for the later fights so you don't run out prematurely. So I think you had to get I think back then it was like 12, 11 or 12 flowers. But and then the cake fight was a big like the feared bottleneck. Oh, you figure, oh, with all this good luck Justin's getting, oh, he's bound to get a hiccup. Well, freebie the red essence before the phase 2. Pidge goes insane, and everybody around me is just losing it. I'm losing it. I'm like, what? What's going on? And then I'm like, then I made the comment like, why couldn't we have played this in Japanese? I would have been on world record pace.
Yeah.
Literally, if it wasn't like Claude was exactly right. If it had been for me saving, just to not lose the run to something and then playing on Japanese, yeah, it would have still been like record pace.
Yeah, okay. That
Even
answers my question that I've been building up to.
yeah, it was record pace. I think up until after the cake, and then obviously all the saving. The saving
Yeah.
doesn't take that long because I'm doing it really quickly, so it's like a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
But
It's still unnecessary time loss and then
but
obviously the version difference.
yeah, and then all of the good luck at that start just sets up. I don't need much in the second half of the run. Like I can kind of coast and I'm good.
Mhm.
And then I get a good cake on top of that. Uh, but yeah, back then uh 107 was like the time that you want to get a good record pace
Yep.
run. But now the bar has been raised significantly. Like you really have to get good luck now, and a lot of things have been cut out of the start of the run now too. Um, but right after the HDQ run, I finished that run pretty good.
Yeah.
There was a couple of hiccups. The countdown fight in particular, I got like the worst fight possible,
Mm.
and then ironically enough, one of the runners at the time, Extra Char, made a donation right after the run was over. You go back and watch the VOD, and he mentions like, I think he jinxed the countdown fight. His donation wasn't read until after my run was over. I was like, ah,
Mm.
yeah. I'll go back and watch all of this extensively just to see,
Yeah.
because I didn't hear it that at the time. I'd already had went out of the stream room and I kind of sat down and kind of decompressed from everything because I still had the relay race to do
Yeah.
the following night, so I couldn't really like party till the house fell down. I had to really
Yeah.
I had still had work to do.
But yeah, for a debut, pretty good.
Yeah, the relay race was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had to wait a little longer than I hoped because of Walrus dying to Sigma on the X1 portion. But I did all right. I ran into a hiccup on Sigma at the end, but I mean, I played the best I could, and it was all right. Just how it goes.
Yeah.
So so after HDQ is over, I go back. I get back home, and I'm playing Mario again. And I think at this time, I think Pandarite, the optional boss, had been. I don't know if he's been removed. Maybe. Yeah. I think we may have took out Pandarite. We routed out Pandarite, and we also routed out the booster pass. The booster pass revisit. That's what I was looking for the words there.
Mm.
So we have less bombs now, but you need more freebies. I don't know if that was the finalized route at that point, but I had gotten another run, and I think I was doing 3 RC Minip this time. I was doing 2, and I had upgraded to 3 Rockini Minip, which only saves like uh maybe a half second. It doesn't save
Okay.
much.
Worth it.
Maybe. Yeah, it might have been a little bit more, but um, but yeah, just not revisiting an area and not fighting one boss cuts a little bit of time out. But you have to compensate. Like I think the Bowyer fight, you have to take an extra turn on, and the Uridic fight also takes another turn. But the time save you get from not visiting Booster Pass kind of evens that out. But I get another run started, and I was on the verge of 246 again, but I think didn't do what was it? Oh, there's also a manipulation we hope to do on Smithy 2 now, where he transforms his head into different. Like he has the tank head that he transforms to, the mage head. He has the safe head where he's in the welder's mask, and he's got the treasure head where he looks like a treasure chest. Those actually he can transform into those based on his HP values. So we're able to set up a possible transformation uh, to make him go to a certain phase when we want him to, just based on his HP. So we would super jump him down to almost where he goes into a random phase. When he gets below 2,000 HP, he goes to a random phase, and he could be any of those heads that he wants to be. But if you get him just above 2,000, and if there's a 50-50 shot that he'll transform on the second turn, and then each turn after that. But there's a 50-50 shot he goes to the chest head where he's vulnerable to fire. And at that point, using Firebomb and Super Flame with Mario is faster than if you were to just do 100 super jumps a second time on the tank head phase. Because the old strat was you would do 100 super jumps twice, and if you got that, as long as you didn't get safe head on the random transformation, because you'd push him to literally 300 HP from death at that point. So as long as he doesn't go safe head, all you had to do was attack him and he dies. But now we stop super jumps at like 132. We do 100 on the first set, and then on the second set we stop at like 30 something, and then hope he transforms. And if he transforms and you have the fire bombs, you can kill him faster than what the super jumps would, because elemental weakness carries a lot of weight into time save, and it just so happens that the chest head's weak to fire, and you have a fire attacking character, and you have fire bombs that the other two characters can throw, and you're dealing 2,000 damage a lot faster than doing 70 super jumps, which takes about 20 seconds slower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many super jumps in that run.
Yeah, you're super jumping on 1, 2, uh, three, maybe three, four, five, six, seven. Yeah, you're about 8 or 9 bosses actually. It's quite a bit.
And each one 100? I don't think.
No,
Yeah,
it's
no.
different number. It's different numbers on different bosses, but you only do 100 on Johnny and Smithy 2
Yeah,
uh,
okay.
at the end.
All
Dropping jumps on Smithy 1 is really punishing because the whole idea of the super jumps is to kill them before they take turns that would like either be like in a phase or that would cause you to slow down or they could knock you out and kill you. That's basically what it comes down to.
but you're still doing like maybe around 500 super jumps in total, and most of those are 3 frame windows.
That's probably more like 600 more.
Okay,
Yeah,
a little
because
more.
yes, maybe 600 or 700 combined on all
Yeah,
the
combined.
bosses that you could do them on. Yeah, it's quite a bit.
Yeah. Yep, that's a lot of precision. Because again,
Yeah,
60 FPS game, 3 frame window.
and some of the bosses, if you don't have the bombs, like if you don't get enough freebies, you have to super jump because it's your only way of dealing
Yeah.
enough damage to one shot them without getting extra turns. So where the damage from the bomb is instant, the super jumps you have to hit the button over 40 some seconds or 50 seconds or however long it takes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where all your time saves is coming from. It's that damage instantaneously, as opposed to getting the damage accumulated over a extended period of time.
Yeah.
So February, what was it? February 5th, 2019. This was right after GDQ. I set another record by 10 seconds. I missed the 246 because I failed to mash the fireballs on Mario fast enough. I didn't deal enough damage, and he took an extra turn.
Mm.
And he transformed. He transformed, I think, to a Mage Head. He did a Dark Star or a Meteor Swarm. Mario lived, and then Mario killed him, and that cost me like I think 10 seconds. It cost me 246 at the time,
Wow.
and then anytime like I'm always watching other runners, just because seeing what are they doing differently, how lucky are they getting, and Verity gets a an insane run the next, like I think it was the next day. He gets like he's on a run that's like on life support, like it's
Mm-hmm.
like almost to the point where he can't PB anymore. And then he starts getting ice bomb freebie after ice bomb freebie after ice bomb freebie, and he gets a run, and he's challenging he's challenging 246 also,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what happened on his run. I think he got a bad countdown fight or he got a bad in-game fight somewhere, but he actually ended up tying me at the very end.
Oh,
Like when it,
to the
when it was
second.
over,
Wow.
yeah, to the second, yeah, when the credits were over and the end popped up, it was 247.06, and it was, I think, the first time that the record was tied in this game.
Mm.
And I was like, I was watching the run too because I think he's
Yeah.
got it on his chat up on his video, and you'll see me pop up there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And his previous PB was like 248 oh something,
Wow. Damn.
yeah, he got a run out of nowhere. And this was at the time. I don't think he played a whole lot back then, or he was doing other runs or something. I'm not really sure what he was playing a lot back then, but it was, yeah, he just caught up to me just like that. And then I was like, well, cool. All right. Well, I was still like pretty hot. Like I was still playing very good. I was still hot. So the very next stream I did, I think it was the second run of the day, and I actually broke the tie
Mm-hmm.
and got 246. Like I actually got the chess gamble. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I was on 246 pace on my last run, and I didn't get the chess head gamble, so I had to super jump my way to victory. And then, but on the run on the 7th, I get the chess head gamble. Like I was like maintaining my pace all the way through the end. But when I got to the end, I had like 20 seconds, and yeah, I got the chest head, and I didn't fumble the fireball mashing, and I got 246.40. And I thought that's probably the limit that it could go, but I think this was before 4 rock candy manip was discovered, or it was widely used. I mean, 4 rock candy manip is a lot harder. The frame windows are a lot smaller than the 2 rock candy or 3 rock candy variation. So it's a lot harder to hit, but it's more rewarding. You save more. You save, I think, an additional 7 or 8 seconds on top of what you would doing 2 or 3 RC.
Hmm. But
But
first
yeah,
246.
so yeah, I set a new record shortly after GDQ. He comes and ties it, and then the very next stream, I
Mm.
break the tie. It's just like
It's a good
up,
storyline
up.
right there.
Yeah, it was pretty hot for like 3 days, and then I think at that point, I think I took another break and I went back to playing X2 because I still hadn't got a 32 yet. Like I had a low time, but it wasn't 32 yet. 32 was only done by a few people at that point. Uh, I can't remember how many. At least 3 people, I think, 3 or 4 people. But it was time to go back to X2 and try to improve. And I got to like 3302 when the pandemic started. And at that point, I went back to Mario again because the more stuff was being found in Mario, like uh, and then in addition to cutting out Pandorite and the Booster Pass secret, now we're cutting out the Kuro Sewer Star experience that you would normally go and get a little bit of experience. Now we're cutting that out, and now we're just going straight to Balloon right away from doing the max skip and all that. So, and then that adjusts the experience route, so it's just cutting down more stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then I came back. I took a little bit of a break. I was doing. I think I ran some other. I picked up Mega Man X Command Mission. It's on the GameCube. Well, it's on the GameCube and PS2, but I play on any percent, and it's just a combination of Mega Man X and RPG. So it was a good
Hmm.
fit.
Yeah.
And I played Mega Man X Command Mission casually back in '04 when it came out, but now playing as a speed game, and then noticing, that there's all kinds of game breaking glitches that you can do in it. It kind of attracted me to the game.
Yep. And that was
So
the
I'm
first
running.
what Super Nintendo or non Super Nintendo game you ran then?
Yeah, yeah. I actually bought a Japanese GameCube in the box just to play it,
Wow.
and it's pretty fun. It's got since you're playing any percent on that game, um, just to give the rundown on X Command Mission, it's basically like an RPG version of Mega Man where you have to go through every area and you fight a boss at the end, uh, that sort of thing. If you played Final Fantasy X, the battles kind of look similar to that. Um, so if you've played FF10 before and you want to play something similar to that, Mega Man X Command Mission is a pretty good game. But the Japanese version on the GameCube, and I guess the Japanese version in particular, there's some glitches you can do. You can do an item underflow. Um, the quantity max in that game should be like 9. It's like a single digit, but instead you can underflow it to 255,
Hmm.
and you could like sell an item and make a lot of money, and now you've got money to buy anything you want for the whole game. And then there's a glitch in it that you can do. Um, it's called force metal main weapon force metal conversion, And what that does is that your inventory is split up into types. So not all your items and everything are in one inventory. You got like main weapons, you got sub weapons, you got force medals, stuff like that. Um, but what you do is there's a item position in the main weapons that's connected to like an additional force medal slot. So these two item positions are linked. They're not supposed to be, but it's not. It's patched out in the American version, but in the Japanese version, you could put like a main weapon into the first position, and it would generate. It would pop out a corresponding force medal that you could potentially use in the force medals, and then you take the force medal out of where you get it, because it's basically a generator is what it is. So you have to take items out of it to not lose them, because if you put another weapon in there, it overrides what's in the other slot. Kind of like what's the analogy I want to use here? Kind of like a warp vortex.
Hmm.
Like if you override something here, it changes this, something like that. But in any way, you use that and you can generate, and it also works opposite way too. You can put a force medal in this extra 101st slot that's not supposed to exist, and you can generate a potentially powerful weapon that you're not supposed to get till the end game or post game, which you actually do. So you could get X's strongest blaster on chapter 2 when it's supposed to be a chapter 10 rare drop, and it's a 1% drop. Like you can get his best weapon immediately, and vice versa. Like later in the game, there's a force medal that you get that you put in this additional slot, and then on the other side, when you go in the main weapons, you get Zero's Red Lotus saber that you get from the post game, which you're not supposed to have it until you beat the game in the first place. You get that, and you get to basically bust the game wide open. And that's not all you can do. There's also like you can also get force medals that are actually in the game, but most of them don't really help you. However, there's also some glitched ones that you can get that don't even have a name. It's just an empty item name. It's like
Missing
a null
no.
force medal. Yeah, kind of like, yeah. That's probably the best analogy to use. Actually, it's like a missing no force medal. It has a quantity. It doesn't have a name, but it gives you outrageously buff stats. Like
It's totally missing no.
yeah, and in fact, a couple of them, what it does, the way that the turn order goes is based on the character's speed. They actually give you maximum speed, and if you have maximum speed, what do you think happens to the turn order? Care to take a guess?
Do you go first every time?
The quantity of speed is 200. That's the highest speed you can have. And powers, shield, and all that, it has a traditional 3-digit maximum of 999. So yeah, you're actually right. Yeah, you're right. You take infinite turns. So,
you go first every turn.
Yeah,
I
literally.
see.
Like you set up a character with this, and it's X for a little bit, and then it transitions to 0. Well, Zero's is not as powerful because it's not max speed, but at the end of the game, Axel literally is like a god. It's like it's insane. If you see a Mega Man X command mission 80%, just watching the ending, it's funny. So yeah, even on bosses, the only exception is if you run into an encounter and it's an enemy blitzkrieg, which is basically the same as a back attack or a pincer, where the enemy will go first. That's the only time that they will outspeed you. They all get a turn first, and then you get your infinite turns. So you can run away even if you fail the first time and you take another turn. Oh, you can run away. And that even applies to bosses. The bosses never get to do a thing. You just shoot them. You take a turn, shoot them. Next turn, shoot them. Next turn, shoot them. It's monotonous, and it's kind of like boring. I don't want to say boring, but it's actually hilarious what you can do to the game when you play any percent. Now that's just main any percent. I'm not talking glitchless or anything. This is just the base any percent. Beat the game as fast as you can. It's shorter than Mario RPG if you get really good time. Like it's like a 2 hour run, and you can even do this to the super bosses. Like after you beat the game, you have to let the credits roll to get the key item that lets you access the post game fights. And there's a whole series of bosses that are super powered. It's basically they can throw the Hadouken at you and all that.
Hmm.
You beat them just as bad. It's hilarious, and they're
Sounds
supposed to
beautifully
be
broken.
hard. Yeah, they're supposed to give you a challenge even in your hyper modes, but you don't even use hyper mode. You know, you just use Axel. You give him 2 pistol shots every turn, and he's done. Like
Oh,
it's
they have hyper mode. They're really fast.
yeah. The hyper mode is supposed to give you like a temporary superpower. It's kind of like Overdrive and Final Fantasy X, kind of like that, where it lasts so many turns. But
Mhm.
yeah, you don't even use that in the post game. It's you only use it in certain situations where you need the power to beat the boss really fast. It's really insane.
Yeah, you have the
Uh,
superpower, but it ain't temporary.
yeah, Ochguard and I think a couple other runners. I think Gamio ran that. Game Epona. Yeah, Game Epona ran that. You know, we were all watching his run, and then me and Och actually wrote the notes for the current route. Uh, since I know a little bit of Japanese katakana and can kind of translate for him, yeah, Och wrote the route like a bunch of times, and I helped him translate, and then I actually went back and saw that there was improvements done, and I actually rewrote the route notes myself. But yeah, X Command Mission. That's another game that I might be running a lot again soon. I might be running it for a an event next year. Not sure yet how that's going to pan out.
Mm,
Not going to spoil anything,
I
but
see.
yeah. In addition to I'm back on the X2 grind as well because I'm trying to get a 32. Uh, get that last minute barrier broken just so I can say, hey, I got a 32. So
Is
I'm
record
playing
still
that.
32?
Yeah, world record is 32-22, but I'm not
Okay.
going for that
Well,
low.
yeah, no, I know that game's hella
But
optimized, but
yeah, it's very optimized, but I've got to pick up some of the faster strats. I'm still using strats I use in my tutorial that I made for X2. And that
okay.
thing's been around for 10 years.
Ah,
But right now I'm also planning on probably running some more games. What I've got right now, I've got like a little bounty set up on my channel. Basically, you go in and chat. You get coin. It's basically I'm using like Crowbot. It's like a DKC community thing where you can accumulate points and you contribute them to bounties to have people run stuff. It's just a bot that you can use for your channel. But I've used it to set up certain speed games that I might run later. Like I think Paper Mario is on there. I've got like casual playthroughs set up. Like that's what I'm doing now. I'm kind of slowing down the speed running and I'm kind of getting back into casual playthroughs and just playing games like I used to do. But
all
I've
comes
got some
full
of
circle.
those I've got some of those set up for bounties. And if you come to my channel, I can explain more about that. But it's basically, you spend time in my chat around, accumulate points, contribute them to bounties, and then I do the thing. And I've also I set up I got affiliate. I decided to hop in the affiliate pool earlier this year,
Hmm.
and I got the sub button. So now I got channel points, and I've got channel points set up for stuff too. I've also got I also do other stuff besides speed runs. I got like model kits I could put together, like the Mega Man X model kits you see right here. Like
Hmm.
you might see them behind me on the shelf. Like I've got a couple of those to put together. Do that on the side. I collect stuff as you can obviously see behind me there.
Yep.
I do have some. I will show off some cool SMRPG stuff. These were I think in Japan printed for a short time. They actually made jigsaw puzzles for SMRPG
Hmm.
back in 95, 96 for a short time, and then they stopped producing them. I mean, Pidge actually she actually has one of these herself, but I found a couple of them on my own as well. She pour so I'm holding up.
Wow.
This is a 300 piece version, and if you look hard enough, I'm going to try to stick it as close to the. You can see that the pieces kind of have some glitter on, like they kind of glitter. Like
Yeah.
if you especially see the piranha plant in the corner, you see some of the it's glittered.
Mm-hmm.
Very rare, very rare finds. And you can see it's got all the characters on it, like Gino. It's got up at the top. It's got the star pieces. It's got Zard Dragon in the corner. You got Jinx, Mac.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
that's unique artwork too. That wasn't used anywhere, as far as I'm
yeah.
aware.
So that's a 300 piece version, but they also made a 1,000 piece version
Oh dear God.
that it's much bigger, but it doesn't have the it doesn't have the. So this is the 1,000 piece.
A little bigger, is it?
Oh yeah, it's a little bigger. Uh,
Wow.
so this frame is 20 inches by 30 inches,
Jesus.
just to give you an idea of how big it is. But yeah, these were not cheap. They are
No,
very hard to find.
I can
Yeah.
imagine.
So yeah. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of these games here, all of them are complete in box. They got their manuals, so you know that's not cheap. You see the box consoles behind me. There's some that you can't see. They're all frame. I've got a couple of N64s down here. Oh yeah, that's another thing I do. If I can get to run Paper Mario, I do have the carts and everything ready to go. I just
Mm.
got to get my N64 and find a place here on my desk to hook it up. But also behind me, I collect a whole lot of stuff. You see, I've got strategy guides from the old games. I got Brady games stuff here. I've got some old Nintendo powers. I've got strategy guides. I've got all kinds of stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if some of you guys were actually here in my room, you probably would probably freak out with some of the stuff I got. It's pretty crazy. Um. Oh, I also yeah, I'll advertise this since it's ongoing. I do have a channel point incentive. I also play Magic a little bit, but I also like Final Fantasy, and this Final Fantasy set they just released earlier this year. I managed to get me one of these collector booster boxes, and these are not cheap either. But yeah, I have an incentive. If it's met, I will crack it, even though I don't want to.
Mm.
Probably don't need to, but there might be one of those fabled chocobos in here
Ah.
for those that know about it. There's 77 serialized golden chocobos that they printed, and like 2/3 of them have been found. But you
Mm.
never know. There might be one in here.
The golden
But
ticket.
yeah, it's literally
Yeah.
what it is. It's the golden ticket. But there might be neon chocobo in there as well. But I have a point incentive right now on my channel. If it's met, I'll crack it,
There
and
you
I'll
go.
crack it on stream. But yeah, I don't I play Magic as well, but I like to collect. And Final Fantasy was like the one set that I would actually break out and buy product for. Yeah, I used to play Pokemon, but I sold that collection and got a nice return on investment.
Hmm.
But yeah, right now I'm just chilling with games right now.
Yeah.
Um, I did a lot of cross stitching. I cross stitched a lot of the gaming stuff. I don't have them readily available, but I did like cross stitches of like the Zelda Link to the Past world maps, like Light World and Dark World. They're to the pixel, so
Yeah.
they took a long time to do. Like I did stage select screen for X2, and I also did one for X1 recently. Like I think it was last year or the year before.
Yep.
But I
Got a lot of
also
hobbies.
yeah, I do a lot of stuff. Um, but yeah, right now it's I still play Mario. Like I like to try to retain my audiences. I'm trying to stream more consistently because I took a big break every now and the last year or so, with a new
Mhm.
job and stuff. So now I'm just trying to slowly stream on a consistent basis. But you work an odd schedule, it's hard to maintain a
Yeah.
stream schedule sometimes, and I can't ever put a stream schedule because it can always change.
Yeah,
But
I know your job schedule fluctuates a bit.
yeah,
It's hard.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I still play Mario. I try like every oh yeah, and recently like last year I did get 245,
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel
and
like we've skipped a bit of the timeline because
yeah,
you stopped at
I was
246, and I was like, you've done a lot more than that.
oh yeah, I've come back. Yeah, I came back and played off and on last year, and then with all the new stuff, like I seriously I knew I could get 245. It just had to have a run.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I caught fire last July and got the first 245, and I had set a bunch of 246 records like since getting 246. Like I think I went from 246.40 to 24, then to 13, and then that 246.13 stood up. What it was there forever. Like I think it was
Yeah.
3 years
Yeah, I
because
remember
it's
that
so
being up there for a
hard.
long time.
It was so hard to get a run past Cloudmanip,
Mhm.
and this was using the 4RC Manip. So yeah, getting back to the Mario timeline for a minute. Um, yeah, this was after playing X2, getting almost a 32, and just taking a break, coming back to Mario, and trying to break that last minute barrier. Um, Now that all the time save from the beginning was like 30 seconds, because the 246.13 I did uh, didn't have the Kiro Sewer Star experience uh, skip. So that was an automatic like 30 seconds that I could get, and plus the fight
Jeez.
was bad in my PB. So I started like I could grind an early 30 some second lead on my runs. So I'd be in the green like almost every time, but it was just getting past Clemenip first try and then getting past Cake on a good run. And then on top of that, you have to get enough freebies uh you have to continue the run, because the bomb counts back in the older routes, you had like 8 ice bombs and 7 fire bombs almost all the time. So you didn't have to worry about freebies a whole lot. You only needed maybe like one of each, maybe two of each, and you were fine. Well, now you have to have, since we don't do the Pandorite fight anymore, and we don't do the booster pass secret where we get that extra Kiro to sell. Now our bomb count is literally 6 fire bombs, 6 ice bombs, and the chances of a freebie is like 25%. So on average, like most of your runs, if you have six bombs of each, you might freebie one of each, maybe two, but that's not enough. And
Mhm.
sometimes you wouldn't freebie a single bomb at all. Like I would have runs. A lot of the time, I'd be on record pace going into the second half of the game, but majority of the time, my runs would end just because there's no freebies, and without
Yeah.
them, you're not saving time. You just have to start over.
Mm.
But one run I did get, I got like 2 firebomb freebies, which is fine. But then I got like 6 ice bombs. Like I freebie like
Fuck.
4 ice bombs. Like
Jeez.
when you get past Yuridovich and you get to Land's End where you have to start using ice bombs for the first time, like the first 3 freebied, I was like, well, I'm good to go. So I like my heart rate instantly kind of went up like 20 beats a minute, and everybody in chat was like, "Uh oh, here we go." So I'm just I adjust myself into my chair and I start locking in.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm pretty consistent. Like that is your key. You have to be consistent. I mean, but that goes for all of speedrunning, but more so in Mario, where you have to hit buttons to the frame almost or close
Yeah.
to it on a consistent basis, and you can't mess up, knowing that the first time you do, that's it.
And you have to do it under the pressure of you don't get
Under,
RNG every time.
well, yeah, you have to do it under the pressure of the clock. You have to do it under pressure of what's the enemy's going to throw at you. You have to do it under the pressure of if you notice your viewer count spikes up.
Yeah.
But
It's a
I held it
lot.
together. I held it all in the whole run, and then I get actually good enough luck when I get to the very end of the game. There's a boss right before Smithy called Gunyolk and the Factory Chief. That fight is basically free. The only thing that makes it faster is what kind of bomb count you have. The more ice bombs and rock candies you have to throw, the faster it gets. Like you could actually get through the fight just fine with only one ice bomb and one rock candy, which you get that in the Bowser's Keep before you get to the end of the game. But the more freebies you have, the more time you save. And I got to the end, and I had 3 ice bombs and 2 rock candies.
Hmm.
So it's literally you only throw items. You don't do any attacks. You don't do special attacks. You just throw items, and it's other than the 4 ice bomb strat. It's basically the fastest strat you can do that doesn't involve anything other than the items.
Mhm.
So I gold split that, and my best possible time was like two. It was 2:45:40 something,
Yeah.
and then I get the god fight on Smithy as well. So basically, inner factory is perfect, and I get 2:45:41, and I just erupt.
Yeah.
All that energy, all that nervousness and pent up I had for like I think an hour. I just let it go. I mean, you'll watch the video for yourself. You'll see it.
Oh, I'm certain I've seen it. So, I mean, what's funny is you have to like you have all that emotion release, and you still have like 7 minutes of credits before you can actually end the timer.
Yeah, after the Smithy split, it's 11 minutes.
11 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, I
You're
just
just
turned the
sitting there
turbo.
waiting.
Yeah, yeah, turbo. Yeah, just let the turbo do the rest. But once the final text box is done, then you can just sit back and just relax and let it all go.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, holding it. Hey, yeah, you gotta hold all that in. You cannot let the nerves get to you, or you lose the run. It's one of those. It's one of those runs where you have to turn it off like a switch,
Hmm.
and then when it's all over, then you can celebrate.
All right. So, what has
But
happened since that first
but
245?
I still play Mario, and like there's a couple of days where like every now and then I'll actually put a grind session in, and uh I've only had 2 runs that get past the cake on record pace.
Wow.
Like I had one like my cake split time. Let me bring it up here if I can. Open splits. I'll yeah. Let me see. Okay, here we go.
Oh,
So
extra camera unlocked.
oh, oh, was that me? Uh, let's see if I can get rid of that camera. There we go. So um my okay, so in my PB, um, let me throw some milestones. Okay, so before the Pandorite skip and the sewer star experience was skipped, a good balloon time was around 20 minutes. Now it's under 19.
Damn.
1852 is my balloon time. So that's how much a good opening, and also hitting 0 punch and getting no hammer times on Hammer Brothers. Yeah, I have like a near gold split on Hammer Brothers just to start off. So yeah, the opening is like insanely good. Um, a good bowyer time now is like close to 30, under 35.5 minutes. I'm at 35:27 on mine. A good Croco 2 time now is like right at 41 minutes. Cloumanip used to be 58 minutes. Now it's almost 56. I have a 57:25 on my record. I had a 57:06 one time. Almost had a 56 clowns. So if you get a good string of RNG early, yeah, that's how sick these times can get. The best time I've ever had on bunt is a 106.28, and I've got a 106.45 on my PB, and which in itself is good. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
have
not far off at
yeah
all. Because
yeah.
after
I've
that
had
point, you're kind of just coasting till the end, right? There's not huge
well
time swings unless the run dies.
there's huge time swings later. Um, there's an area in the game before you get to before you claim your super suit called Belome Temple, and there's a fortune that you have to get. You
Mm.
have to get the right fortune, and it's 50-50 if you get the right one or not. And if you don't get the right fortune, you have to exit the room, go back in, hit the tongue, and get another fortune.
Mm.
Each time you don't get the right one, it's 3 seconds. And you could get it first try or you get it like eighth try.
Yeah.
So there's like a 25-second swing there.
Okay.
Um, there's also RNG on Mega Smilax, which is like the first boss after you get the super suit. You got to hope for not a whole lot of spells. Basically, it's basically hope for physical attacks from super suit to the end of the game. And I actually lose a bunch of time from Belome 2 onward
Mm.
because of bad boss RNG, but also climbing up the vines to get to Nimbus Land. I fell down the vines a little bit, and then I get a bad Birdo fight. So I bleed time a lot during the later part of the game. But once I get to like the castle, it's basically smooth sailing. I almost actually lost the run to Axum Rangers because um I had the bombs for Axum Rangers. Axum Rangers is a very important split in the game. Basically, depending on what bombs you have at your disposal at that point, depends what strat you do. But also, it also depends if you freebie the rock candy you throw. And this is the same rock candy that you have to freebie 4 times from Cloudmanip. So this is where the rock candy gets thrown again. And if you don't keep the freebie from, if you don't get Cloudmanip, you have to have a bunch of bombs to replace that, and you lose a bunch of time. But basically, you throw the rock candy you had from the clowns, and you hope it freebies. If you do, you're smooth. Like it's free. Like you're gonna get a good fight, and you save maximum time. But if you don't, you have to throw a fire bomb and or an ice bomb depending on what you have. And I had to throw the fire bomb, but by doing so, you also have to do ultra jumps with Mario, and those are random. Like when you do ultra jumps, he jumps from enemy to enemy, and it's random. But you also have to hit each ranger at least one time for the strat that you use to go to be just enough. It wouldn't hit a certain ranger, like, and the frame window kind of works the same as the super jumps, but once you get to jump 18, it's 2 frames. I literally got to the 18th jump and it finally hit the last ranger it needed to hit. So I lost a lot of time. Like, it should have been like 4 or 5 ultra jumps. That's optimal to get all the hits in, but it took 18, and each jump is like an extra second
All
because it's
right.
exactly yeah. So I lost a bit of time there. If the rock candy would have freebied, and then everything else happened, and the rest of the run the way it did, 245 probably would have been 245 2x, and I probably wouldn't play the game again.
Mm.
Like if you get like all your boss fights are good, like you can't improve that. The one thing I will say, like the Valentina fight, like which is who you fight in Nimbus Land to free Mallow's parents. That fight can be very volatile because she can do nothing but spells, and all the spells are long, and there's like a 30-second swing just on that split. but she gave me all physicals, but I also had a missed attack. So I had to take an extra turn, but she was nice enough to give me all physicals, and I was able to save not lose a whole lot. Like I have a 149.57. Like it's hard to get a 149 Valentina in the first place.
So is that a 245 where it stands right now?
Yeah, 245.41 has been the record since July of last year. And I've only been able to challenge it like once. Like the
Yeah.
one run I did had, I had turbo on by accident, and I game over to Dodo. But I think the run was dead anyway because I didn't have any bombs to carry me through. But yeah, if I get a string of RNG going, I could challenge it. But it's really about the freebie luck and just
Yeah.
being able to good boss luck. Like you could be in the green up to a certain point, but something bad's gonna happen eventually.
So is the run at this point, you really have nothing else to really show for it? It's just whenever you feel like it, grind the luck and see what happens?
Well, I'll pop in Mario like every now and then just to keep the muscle memory going and
Yeah.
keep myself entertained. But it's gonna be hard to challenge this run.
Yeah.
Like like I said, I've only had 2 runs since last July to even be in the green.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
like yeah, but both of those runs that were in the green, I lost them to not enough bombs.
Hmm.
Or I would go for Johnny, like I would go for a risky strat on Johnny where I don't time boost the Geno boost and get defense boosted, and then Mario would die before he gets the chance to super jump. I would go for dumb. I would go for kind of some crazy strats I probably shouldn't be going for, but some of these seconds matter.
Yeah.
Like I'm just throwing when I throw caution to the wind just ends the run.
Yeah.
Basically what happens. But yeah, right now I'm still playing Mario. I'm playing a little bit of X2 a little bit, trying to get my muscle memory back. I think when I get X2, when I get my 32 on video in X2, I might jump to X3 and try to see if I can learn some new strats in that game because X3 has really like the time for that. It's really gotten optimized over, the 5 years that are the 6, 7, 8 years I haven't been around the game. Like, there's more faster strats. The time has gone down from 45 now to 44. We're down to 44, a low 44, in fact, in the record time for that. So it's gotten crazier over the years.
Hmm. So,
And
yeah.
let's see what else. Every now and then, I might pop in a Final Fantasy just to show off some stuff in it. I mean, I was playing a playlist for a while, like uh, just to have stream up. Like I've got my perfect Excalibur 2 perfect game playlist I set up where you just go up to Excalibur 2 and get everything that's missable that you can't get later. That's basically what a perfect game is. You get everything that you can't get later, and then you max out your inventory and you max out everything. It's just a long grind, especially when it comes to item count. Final Fantasy VIII was really notable for having 100 as the item quantity max, and you had to get 100 of everything possible. That includes cards, by the way, and I did that. But yeah, that's basically what's going on now. There will be like casual playthroughs. I'm really thinking about breaking out the GameCube and playing Wind Waker again. That's my favorite
Ah.
Zelda game, and every now and then I just like to play it. It's really fun. I just like the art style
Mhm.
on that.
Yeah. Sounds like you have a lot of things set up. Casual speed
Yeah,
run
it's just
ready.
getting time. Yeah, it's just getting time to do it, and yeah, because I think I work right now. I think I'm working a lot of night shifts, so getting time to play during the morning really ain't gonna help because I usually sleep in because I get home so late, and then when I wake up finally, it's almost time to go back to work. So I'm waiting for a day off again before I play something. Usually.
Hmm. Well, I think that's everything. It sounds like. I mean,
Yeah, I
we would know
figured
if we missed anything.
yeah, I figured there might be a Q&A session.
Well,
I'm usually thorough, but I'm bound to miss something.
well, I mean, I wouldn't know. It sounded pretty thorough to me. Um, yeah, talked about future plans. I guess have you done any other marathon runs?
Um locally here, we did have a thing going on in Ohio called Buckeye Speed Bash. It's like my local marathon thing, but we haven't done anything in a couple years. Um, I know the people that organize it. We just haven't done anything in a while. I think we're still trying to get another marathon going, and that's in Columbus usually. Um, we used to have it every year. I think when the pandemic kind of happened, it kind of slowed down and nothing's really fired back up. But hopefully we'll get that back up and running. Um, yeah, it's a 2 hour drive for me to Columbus, so it's something that I can go to easily if I want to go. And I think I know a lot of people in this area that go to it. More people than uh, I thought lived around here, but apparently there's a lot of people that I know that live around here that goes to it.
Right. So, that GDQ run was like the only time you've done a marathon run. That was
At, yeah, I've only been to Games Done Quick one time, and that was 2019, and that was to do SMRPG and play in the X relay. Um,
gotcha.
yeah.
Well,
Um, a lot of people have always asked me, why don't you have a Switch and play the remake? Well, I when the remake was announced and I saw the trailer, I noticed a couple things right off the bat that I was turned off from.
mhm.
Like the first thing, Mario's on Mario's pad, it said Mario House. It didn't say Pop House like it does in the game. And then when we saw the Valentina footage, what a lot of people would like to see when it comes to the Valentina fight. It wasn't there. We're like, well, hmm. So
Well,
yeah, men of
well, it
culture
did
though.
get the finale a few GDQs ago, so there is some
Yeah,
hype
and
around it.
yeah, and another thing that turned me off from the remake, I like the remake, the graphics, and I like the music, but they stripped like you can't sell certain items like the flower tabs, the jars, and the boxes that you get. You can't sell them now for money. You can't buy you you have item maximum quantities now for certain items, so you can't have like, oh, you can't have 8 ice bombs, or well, you
Oh,
probably can, but you can't have like 29 rock candies. It was just, it made routing a big challenge at the start, but also with the new party party tech mechanic, and the chain boost and all that gives your parties stronger abilities. It made the game too easy in my opinion. Like the
ah,
game was already kind of easy. They should have made it harder by like making the enemy stronger, or almost doing a restructure on the HP and the attack and all that. They kind of almost one for one, like copy pasted the mechanics. They just did a little tweak, but I felt it was too easy. Like it's now faster than the original because you only super jump one time, and that's on Johnny for obviously the super suit. But
mhm.
now the strats and everything has been around using Mallow. You can actually rotate characters in and out of the party now, so you can literally use everybody if you want. Um, but yeah, it's I think the challenge of the game kind of got lost I mean, it's still fun, I'm sure, but it wasn't for me. Like me and Verity, we still play the classic SNES all the time. Um, but a lot of people like Void and Ice Blue and a lot of the other people that routed the remake, they've played that. But I mean, I don't have a Switch, so I can't really play it. But I mean, I just still like the Super. I
Yeah.
mean, it's got a challenge. It still has that challenge to it, I think.
One thing
And
I oh,
low
okay.
level in particular, not to cut you off, but yeah, but low level in particular was really grindy for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
But now they've discovered that in low level, where you have to keep Mario level 3 and you have to lose experience intentionally, now you can track the eggs sort of in that little mini game that you have to play. So it's made low level a little bit more tolerable. I mean, that's probably why a lot of people still like to play they play the remake just for the easier low level experience.
Mm,
Like there's still a lot of people that play low level, and it's a lot easier in remake now than it is on Super.
got it. I was actually about to ask that we hadn't talked about the other categories. Like I
Yeah,
know you have the record for uh what is it? Beat
beat Kulix.
Kulix. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's just a simple just get to Kulix and beat him. I mean, it's not a full game run. You
It's
just
kind of
go
like a
through.
half game run, right? Like you're kind of
Yeah, it's more like a half game. Yeah, you're still going to get the super suit with Johnny like you would in any percent, and then once you get to Monster Town and claim your super suit and your attack scarf, that's actually where you fight Kulix. Is right after you get the
mhm.
super suit. And Mario in that run is at level 11. So, and that's all you do. It's literally a super jump contest. That's really what it all comes down to on the Super Nintendo version. Um, Low level, I've played low level on Super, but I don't have enough time in the day to actually try to do a run of it. And there's RNG manipulation in that game too. Not just like on the Clown Brothers, but there's also a place in Seaside Town where you can actually get rock candies and you can actually manipulate getting them. You give this guy a mushroom and he'll eat it and he'll tell you if it's a certain type of mushroom. And you can literally, if it's just like saving and resetting, if you track the frames in the music on Seaside Town and you clear the text in the right place, you can get a rock candy at will if your timing's good enough. But it's literally like I think a near frame perfect text advance. It's not like frame windows in
Yeah.
the battles. It's like almost frame perfect, if not frame perfect. And you can do this multiple times in one sitting if you clear the text fast enough. And you can get 3 or 4 rock candies in one save and go back, save, and restart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
I
that
know.
makes getting items in the game a lot easier. So
Yeah.
low level record used to be like 8.5 hours back in the day. Now it's like 6.5 hours just on manipulations. Like there's Yoshi Racing Manip where you get odds for the race. Basically, you bet cookies and whatever the odds are, you get that multiplied if you win. So you manipulate like times 5 odds or times 10 odds to make getting all the cookies you need like in like 1 or 2 races. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So manipulations work outside. They also work outside of battle for certain things like that on the
Mhm.
field. But yeah, it's what RNG manipulation has done to SMRPG over the years. It's changed the routing quite a bit.
Yeah. I know low level is a very infamous category because
Yes,
of how
very
different
infamous.
it is.
Yeah,
And there's not a lot of runs on the leaderboard, and they're all like so varied.
yeah. It is varied because just on because in the you have to trigger a lucky game, so you have to use a certain item or you have to have the lucky hammer equipped on Mario to trigger or to force this mini game after a battle, and then you have to lose intentionally, which is 1 in 3. So
Mm.
your odds of getting the right egg to move on is like 1 in 3. And if the enemy drops coins, you have to reset if he doubles your coins, or double, like if you get double experience, you try the mini game anyway. But if you want to double your coins at the end, you can't even continue. You have to reset.
Mm.
So some of the bosses, it's a luck grind more than others. Some of them are not that problematic because the fights are fast, and you can try the mini game really fast. But some of the more difficult fights that take a while to beat, and then you have to win the mini game on top of it. Yeah, it's a crazy grind that I'm not willing to go for. That's not
Yeah,
for me.
that just sounds like way too much RNG to deal with.
Yeah, I'm smart enough to keep my sanity.
Yeah, you have to deal with enough as is.
Yeah, I've dealt with enough RNG as it is. I don't need any more.
Get that. Well, I think that covers everything.
Yeah, I don't think I missed anything.
Yeah.
Unless you want me to talk about Final Fantasy Perfect File and what that means, really.
I certainly know nothing about that at all.
Okay, so I'll go back. I'll go back in time and go back to when I started the speedrunning experience. So what the Final Fantasy Perfect File is supposed to be? You're supposed to maximize your inventory, maximize your stats, everything. You're supposed to get a maximum of everything you're supposed to get possible. So like unique items that there's limited quantities of, level 99, maximum experience, maximum stats. Like for FF7 and FF8, you could get items that would increase your stats by 1 point every time, and you can max it to 255. But in FF9, it's a little different because you got a time window. You've got a time constraint. You got 12 hours to get to the end. Uh, so you have to pick up, and there's areas that you can't get to later in the game. Like there's one-time visit only areas. So while you're in those areas, you have to literally pick up everything that you can't get later. And then when you get to the end, you have to buy everything in shops that you can't get later either. Like there's some weapons that are missable. Like once you get past a certain point, they're not available in the game anymore. So you have to get 99 of them, or whatever the case may be. Uh, and in FF8 in particular is really hard because there's a battle menu, there's a battle tracker that's in the game that you have to get. It also tracks how many times all your characters have been killed, how many enemies they've defeated, and all that. And I think for that one, and also tracks like how many battles you've ran from and all that. And literally, the lowest number you can have on that one was 1. There's one battle that you have to escape from in FF8. All the other ones you can beat. There's and it also keeps track of how many times your characters have been killed. On my file, they all say 0. None of them have never been killed. So it's kind of like uh, you have to keep that perfect streak intact the whole game.
But luckily, if it doesn't go well, you can reload the save and try again.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's segmented, of
Yeah.
course. It's not a speed run. This is just casually playing it, grinding it to the end.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, if you die by accident, you just have to reset, and you hope that you don't save your character knocked out over a file, or you're screwed.
Yes, I understand that.
Like the FF8 file took me years, literally years to do. So I made a bunch of copies of everything just to not lose it.
Got it.
But yeah, that's what that is. That was just a big grind fest before speedrunning was even a thing for me. But FF9 in particular is where you take the speed challenge, and then you add the casual grind, and you put it all in one. If you're interested in reading about that, I would suggest going to GameFAQs and looking up the perfect game guide and reading about it. It's a good read if you want something to read, and something MVP. Oh, that's pretty fun. Yeah, it's fun. All right.
And that's where it all kind of started for you.
Yeah, and plus in FF9, you're at level 1 nearly the entire game.
Hmm.
So it's like low level for Mario RPG, and then you take the insanity of grinding items and grinding segments in speedrunning, and you throw all that together. So I've dealt with a lot of grinding and a lot. I've had to be patient for a long time when playing games like with these kind of goals. It's pretty insane.
Mm-hmm. Well, now I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think that is everything. For
Think
yeah, I
we
can't
did it.
think of anything else to cover.
Well, then we did it.
But yep, you can follow me on twitch.tv/Justincredible83. There's no underscore in there. And you can follow me on Twitter or X or Blue Sky. I think the I in Justin is a one on the
On the Twitter,
on
yeah.
on X, and I think it's just incredible, all one word on Blue Sky.
You have
I've
a
got links.
dash in between Justin Incredible, but
Yeah, yeah, I've got links to my pages on my Twitch channel if anyone's
mm-hmm.
interested.
They're
And
also
I
on
need
stream and in the YouTube description.
yep,
I'm
and
thorough.
I also need to put my X2 tutorial link back on my Twitch page. I've yet to do that.
Mm.
I'm also working on. Since I've got channel point redeems, I'm also working on some sound effects for the channel. You know, I'm also working on uh, incentives to put on there as well. Just haven't got around to it yet. But yeah, that's so I'm slowly building up the affiliate
Mm-hmm.
life. It's just a slow grind.
Well, it was a long time coming, right? So,
Yeah, yeah. I people have been asking forever. When am I going to get the sub button? I was like,
mhm.
I'm not one to ask for money, but if you want a sub, hey, I'm all for it. I'll appreciate
Hey,
it.
I mean, the content's always there for free. You never have to
Yeah,
be
I'm
obligated,
like,
right?
yeah, and I think, yeah, I don't think there was ever ads before I had the sub button.
Yeah.
I think if you don't have affiliate or anything, you don't ever get ads on the channel.
That's actually kind of surprising now I think about it,
Yeah,
but
and
hmm.
now once you monetize your channel, everyone has to sit through ads. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, I figure just do it for the channel point rewards.
Yeah.
I
That
mean,
is a fun feature.
that's basically why I got affiliate was just for the channel point redemptions and
Mhm.
to do the predictions and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll call it a day. You got your shout outs, you got your future plans, talked about everything. I think we're good. I think we covered all of our bases.
Yeah, we've been trying to get I've been trying to get this set up for a few weeks and or may actually been a couple months and just it just never materialized, but
Yeah, I mean, it
we finally got
happens
it.
actually fairly frequently. I mean, it's a hard thing to do when you do this every week and have to constantly be juggling, making sure you have people. But
Yeah, you have to find people to do it and uh I
we
don't think
make
you've
it
had
work.
anyone I don't think you've had anyone on a second time, have you?
No, that's on purpose.
Yeah.
This is kind of a one and done kind of format, just to keep it unique every time. But
Yep.
I mean, I have heard there's some other speedrunning podcasts popping up here and there. So I mean, hopefully those can do their own thing and a way to have.
Hopefully everyone watching has enjoyed the interview.
Yes, of course. It's been real as
And thanks
always.
for having me on. Thanks for having me
No,
on.
yeah, I really appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to finally get it to work out. So yeah, we'll call it an interview. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. You
Thanks
know
for
where
watching.
you know where to follow the show, follow the guest. All the links are available, and yeah, that's really it. I'll just as my OBS decides to crap out on me anyway. It's good timing as always.
Yep.
So,
Alrighty, everybody. Thanks for watching.
yep. Take care.
Hope to see you
Bye.
around.